Hello there! I would like to inform you that what you are about to listen to are the views and comments of the host and the guests only. They do not reflect the views of the community as a whole. Also, side effects of listening to this podcast might include headache, cardiac arrhythmia, nausea, an increase in blood pressure, temporary insanity, permanent insanity, involuntary cursing, shouting, hemorrhoids, spontaneous combustion, abdominal larvae, zombie reanimation, and a permanent loss of faith in mankind. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Hello everybody, this is the Ed Talks About podcast, a podcast series talking about Comic-Con, cosplay and everything else. I'm your host Eddie, and this week we are wrapping up 2024. This is my wrapped podcast of the year of 2024. I was meant to record this last year, but I both got number of things happened basically. I was having a breakdown, I think, so I needed a break from everything. I also got busy, that's what I meant. But I also got ill. Christmas time as well. I was trying to find people to come with, to join me on this podcast, but it failed. And I was thinking to myself the other day, I was thinking, why was it 4.5 years ago easier to find guests for the podcast compared to now? And then I went, oh yeah, it was the before time. So yeah. So just to say, this podcast is about wrapping up a look back of 2024. I hope you're going to enjoy listening to this, go down nostalgia road with me. Basically the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through the photos I took on my phone, because I seem to forget a lot of things. So one of the things that happened was that I didn't realise, I've forgotten about this, is that the beginning of January I did 4 shoots in about a week. So I did a shoot with Shrike Cosplay, I think that's how you pronounce their name, and they were offering to say, hey look, I know a location where there's a Tomb Raider statue, and I've got a Lara Croft cosplay, I'd love to shoot with the statue. I went, yeah, I'm free, let's go for it, let's do it. And when we got to, it was in Camden Market at the time, and when we got there, the statue had disappeared. I went, oh, we missed a chance. But we could see some, wording in lights saying Tomb Raider. We went, oh, let's give it a go. Let's shoot here. And when we started shooting, we saw this. I think a worker come out from the live experience. It was a Tomb Raider live experience. It was. So it was like an escape room type of thing. And they were just packing it down. And the guy said, "Look, do you want to get a quick photos inside with the statue?" And went, oh, if that's okay. And yeah, go for it. So we took all our belongings and took it inside, and we started taking photos and with the statue, and we did some both inside and then outside, because we didn't want to take too much time with the guy, and it was late at night and we didn't want to get him into too much trouble. So when we finished inside, went outside, took some photos there, and then he left and went off for the day, and we said goodbye, thank you for everything. And then when we finished, we said, oh, let's go, let's pack up. So put my camera in my camera bag, zip it up. I'm going, oh, I'm getting a bit cold here. I think I'll grab my coat. Where is my coat? And I just realised that I left my coat inside the building. I went, oh, no. But I thought, oh, it don't matter if it gets lost, it's an old jacket kind of thing. Then I thought, shit, I left my keys, my house keys, in my jacket, and I was like kind of made homeless for the night. I was like, oh no. But I thought, look, I'll come back tomorrow and see if they're open, or people back here, so I could just get my coat back. So I won't go into details where I slept, but I found a safe place to sleep somewhere, but I don't want to go into details where. Things like that. But the next day I kept ringing up the people that ran the live experience and explain the whole situation. Oh yeah, we'll check if there's people there, or when they I think I heard when they turned up. But I was waiting ages for this phone call to come back to me, and I was getting so anxious. And I was at work at the time. I had to go work the next day. And when they finished work, I was when it was like my lunchtime. I thought I'll give them another call, and they still couldn't give me an answer. So I was like, are they there now? And they went, oh yeah, they're there now. I went, oh for goodness sake. So I literally bolted down there. It was about half an hour from where I was at work, get to Camden, and then, yeah, I got my coat back and my key. So that was a good relief, and not the best way to like start 2024, but it was a fun story. It's a story that, as I say, I mentioned on the podcast. I'll just say that I might be saying stories that I've already briefly said on the podcast, or certain things I've said. So apologies if you heard this all before, but I'm happy to like say this all again. This is a wrapped podcast, so I just thought I'd talk about it. Then I drove all the way up to Manchester, and I've forgotten I did 3 shoots in 3 days. So I did a shoot with SJ Jinx, and these 3 shoots were for my alternative photography brand of HKC, spelt phonetically. And for those who don't know, it's meant to be my alt photography account, meant to be like the everything else but cosplay photography account, but it's ended up being a fetish latex account somehow. But I've leaned into it, so I don't care. And I love shooting with SJ Jinx. She's an absolute professional. Love working with her. She's great what she does. She's a great model. Very easy to work with. We communicate quite easily with each other. She knows what I want. I know what I want. And yeah, we get the best out of each other. And we did a mixture of latex fashion shoot. But there was something else I wanted to try out, which I've been meaning to get back into. But I only seem to do it like once every so often, which is I want to do light painting with either with lights or with fire. This one I did an actual with lights, and I had like my light sticks that I use for photography. But the person I was staying with is also a photographer, Kevin Pack, who you've heard on this podcast before. He said, "Oh, if you're going to do that, do you want to try this light tube that I've got?" And it's like over 1 meter long. And like, oh my God, yeah, please, because I'll make things a lot better and easier. And actually, he said his light actually switches colour as well. I'm like, oh my God, this would make even better. And we did a load of we took some did some experiments with it. It took about, I think we spent an hour doing a few different variations of it. And yeah, it turned out okay. I'd like to keep trying again and again. But like anything, when I do a project, I want to give myself a bit of distance from it. I also want to edit the photos first before I go dive in again, because as much as I love taking photos, I think it's still honourable for me to actually take the photo, not take the photo, to edit the photo before going on to many more projects. So that was that. So yeah, if I just want to say, if anyone wants to work with SJ Jigs, please drop her an email or a message. If I don't, just go to my Instagram. I'm sure you'll find photos of her on there. If I don't put it in the podcast description. But then the next day I did a studio day shoot with two latex models and cosplayer of Jen Zamir, and she brought her Rita cosplay. I'm assuming she loves that character from Doom Patrol, and we did loads of shoots photos of that. The 2 fetish models we had were Princess Latex, Rubber Doll, and Kitty Cat. Kitty Cat is under different names on different platforms because her account keeps getting taken down every so often, and I'm surprised mine hasn't been taken down recently. But yeah, but that was again, I love doing studio days. I feel like I'm in control a lot of things. I don't feel rushed. We can all have a good time. I mean, a studio day is great to like, bang out a lot of photos in one day and things like that. And I mentioned this before. I keep saying I want to host a studio day, an open studio, so that people can sign up and say, if I do all the organising, you just turn up and either bring a model, or if I set up a model, if I organise a model to be on that day, then you can shoot with that model, and things like that. So I keep forgetting to do that. So I'm going to try to do it this year, but again, I'm not going to make promises, but I will try to do it. The other idea I had actually for a studio day, because I see a lot of cosplayers wanting to do modelling or move into that world, or expand on their modeling skill set. And again, I'm willing to one day host a day for cosplayers to try alt modeling with latex, because I've started to collect a lot of latex items for shoots like this for my alt site, and think, I wonder if some of it's transferable or not. So again, I might pose the question of both a studio day for cosplay strictly and studio day for alt modeling, see how that goes. I'm not expecting huge replies, but if there is a huge response, I'll probably will set up. So that was a fun day of studio. I always seemed, I don't know why, I've both front loaded this year and last year's with photo shoots, and I'll talk about this year's photo shoot on the podcast extra, because I feel like it's a bit too risque, and I can't talk about it on my other account because I'm trying to be anonymous on that one. But this, yeah. Anyway, I'm babbling a little bit. We're still in January, and I haven't talked about MegaCon Live London, which is, I still don't get why people like this event more than MCM London. And I do get that MCM London is a busy event. I totally understand that. I totally get that. But I don't think for what you pay for comparative to MCM, it's a good value for money. There's not enough things to do for that money. There's not a lot of floor space that they've hired at. Things like that. I just think, do you know what? I think people overestimate, is that the right? Over promote MegaCon for what it is compared to MCM. And I'm not saying MCM is a perfect event. It's far from it. But I would rather go to an MCM London event than a MegaCon Live London event. And it's sad to say that. I would have to say it's my least favourite event of the calendar year that I've been to in 2024. I am going to go this year, though, I will say that. But I'm only going because an old friend of mine who I haven't seen since the before time, as I say, is wanting to go back to Comic-Con. And I said to him, well, if you're not prepared to go back to an MCM London because of the people, and you're still wary about crowd sizes and things like that, we can always try MegaCon Live London. And if you're okay with that, then you can slowly build up. So he said, oh yeah, that sounds perfect. So I will be there at MegaCon Live London. I will take a camera, but I won't be actively taking photos because, one, I'm a paying punter. I'm not a creator pass or a press pass for the event. So I don't think I owe it to anyone to MegaCon. So do come up to me if you want photos. I will take photos, but I might say politely no, because I don't want to create too much of a backlog of photos for myself. So I hope you understand if I say no, and please don't be too upset for that. So yeah, but I'm hoping to see a lot of people at MegaCon Live London. I think there's not much left to talk about January. I mean, I went to see a lot of 2024. I decided to go embrace the theatre a little bit more. So you'll hear all the different shows I've been to. So I've been to, like, what's it called? So here, Stranger Things, The First Shadow. I went to see that from a colleague from work. I actually really enjoyed that more than I thought I would. So if you're a huge Stranger Things fan, I would highly recommend to go and see it. I would say a passerby of Stranger Things. I know of the series and some key points of it. And it's more of a sequel than a prequel to anything, but you don't need anything to know about the show to watch it. I think I went in not knowing about one of the characters, and I went, oh, okay, that's quite interesting, and followed it absolutely fine. So I definitely highly recommend it. But what other shows did I see? And I'll talk about. I saw, oh my god, Spirited Away. I will talk about that. So I went to see The Play That Goes Wrong and Six. I've seen those a few times, and again, these are great shows. I'm trying to think, did I see Les Mis? I want to say I saw Les Mis, and I really didn't enjoy Les Mis. And don't get me wrong, I know it's an iconic show and all that, but I just find the constant singing too much for me to bear. So yeah, February, one thing I've been doing, as well as going to theatre shows, going to a few cabaret shows. So there's a cabaret show called, I think, Cabaret Expose at at a venue called Proud Cabaret? No, Proud City. Yeah. And it wasn't the best cabaret show I've been to. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. But I've been a few cabaret shows like that over the last year, and I really did that. I also had a trip to. I went for work. I went to Florence to do a bit of work. That was really interesting trip. I like to go back on my own. No, I like to go back to Florence when it's not work related, because I got to see the city. I had a day to myself to go around the city and really enjoy the city. And yeah, it's a nice holiday destination. So I would like to go back one of these days, and things like that. So the food was lovely out there. I have to admit, the food was absolutely gorgeous. I was treated really well when I was out there. Both by my work colleagues, who we've got a place there, and the city itself. It's a beautiful city. So if you ever get a chance to go to Florence, absolutely go. Oh, I will have to admit, I went to one of the cathedrals there. I was invited to the cathedral as part of the work trip, and I'm not into organ music, but oh my god, the organist there was absolutely amazing. I can't remember his name, but he was demonstrating us how the organ works in the cathedral, and oh my god, the sound was booming throughout the whole cathedral. I was absolutely mesmerised by it. I can't show the videos or the photos that I took because it was a very private tour of the cathedral. But yeah, it was amazing and just astonishing. This workshop was really good, and like I said, it was just really nice. Love to, like I said, love to go back there. I'm still scrolling through my photos to remind myself what I did, because there are times I think to myself, I don't do much in my life, but I clearly do. But yeah, no, I think that's February more or less sorted. So I'm now into March. Oh, more photo shoots. So I did a photo shoot with Purple Muffins. Every so often she'll just drop me a message and go, "Hey, I'm in the area. Would you, if you're free, do you want to do a photo shoot?" I went, "Of course, I'll make time for you to do a photo shoot." And I love working with Purple Muffin. I like to think I'm very lucky that the people that I've worked with are just easy to work with, communicate well. So the reason why I'm saying communicate well, I did a question poll on my Insta recently, and a lot of the answers to that was like good communication is like what makes a good photographer, and I found that a fascinating answer to read, because I thought it would be someone who would deliver photos. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time, because I might make that as a podcast title. But yeah, what was I going to say next? So yeah, no, I'm Bubble Muffins. That's it. I love working with her. I think we both enjoy each other's company. We both bring out something in each other. She improves my photography skills and the photos that I produce and things like that. She gets a set of photos that she can use, or that she's happy for me to share out and things like that. Helps me promote my brand and things like that. So yeah, I that was cool. And then a couple of weeks later after that, I did a shoot in a. I don't know how to politely say this, so I'll just say it as it is. I took I took photos in a sex dungeon, in somewhere in London. Again, this is nothing to do with food and cosplay. This is all for my alternate site. I'm just wrapping up what happened for me that year, and that was an interesting day for a couple of reasons, but the main one was really pushing the boundaries of what I was comfortable shooting. Not to say that I did anything that I would seem either illegal or squeamish, or there was no sexual activities. We were just posing for a lot of things. But the themes around it, I didn't think I would be that comfortable around it, but clearly I was fine to do it. Yeah, it was an interesting day, and I'm hoping to go back there this year. I just need to actually inquire about it, and find some people to shoot with actually. So yeah, but yeah, that was a fun day, but it took forever to edit those photos. What happened was that there was meant to be like a few photographers that day. I was the only photographer that day, and I felt so stressed trying to make sure everyone got a set of photos that they can like when I edit them can take away with them. Yeah, and it was just very stressful, absolutely stressful. But yeah, so the one take I would take back? No, you know what I'm trying to say, I think, hopefully. But one thing I would take away from that day is make sure there's more than one photographer that day, because big venue, you can go upstairs, downstairs, so we can have two or three photographers shooting at the same time. Therefore, it doesn't feel like I'm, solely shooting there. So yeah, a lot of these alternate photography photos that I've taken are currently on my other branding. So feel free to go to those links if you want to see it. Just still looking through. So coming to April. Let's face it, there's only one thing that happens in April, which is my birthday. Love celebrating my birthday. So just to cover the things that happened in April, I went to see. So if you ever heard of a theatre company, that's it. Theatre company called Mischief. They did a spin-off show called The Mind Mangler with two of the original casts of that company, and absolutely, I love magic. I love slapstick comedy. Really ticks a lot of boxes for me, and this show at the Mind Mangler was absolutely hilarious. It was only a short run, limited run, and I wish it was a little bit longer so that more people could see, because I think there was some really good jokes in there, some good acts, a good script. It is scripted for something that's I thought it was kind of off the cuff type of thing, but yeah, it's a really good show. If it ever comes back, I would implore to go see it. I'm hoping to see the newest one called Comedies of Spies, one of these soon when it comes out in April, I think, in London. So gonna plan to see that. But let's get back to why I'm talking about April, because it's my birthday month, and I always for the last few years I've been doing I hire out a studio in Stockport. That's it, Stockport, Montrose Studios. One of my favourite studios to work in. Yeah, it's a long trip for me to go, but I like it set up there. It's reasonably priced. It's got lots of sets and things like that. So if you ever see photos on my website or Instagrams, and you see it taken out Montrose studio, hopefully you'll see why I like it and things like that. Sorry, that was my phone. I haven't silenced it because I didn't think I was going to get messaged this late in the evening. So anyway, but yeah, I love doing celebrating my birthday by doing a photo shoot at Montrose. I might do something slightly different this year. I will hire at Montrose Studio sometime this year, but my birthday thing might be different this year. Things like that. Just to say, for my birthday shoot, I was with Sammy Dodger Mines. I was with Emmy Cat 666, and I was with Bitten and Smitten Cosplay, and I can never pronounce her cosplay handle name, but Srialazia Cosplay. You'll know who I'm talking about. I shoot with her quite regularly. It was a fun day, and I love spending my birthday with friends or people I enjoy hanging out with, and it was a really nice day to be hanging out with those people. And again, Kev Pack was there. I want to say James Bissett was there. I think James Bissett was there. Oh, and Gareth of Bigfoot Photography. Oh my God, Gareth, I'm so sorry. I almost forgot your brand and all that. So yeah, fun day. I can't wait to like I say, freshen up a little bit for this year, and stuff like that. I'm trying to think what else. Oh yeah, this is when things started to take a little downturn. This is when I got really ill. Basically, I was in hospital visiting family member, and I must have, some of the visitors there. One had a cold, one had a flu, and I must have picked up both of them at the same time, because one had one set of symptoms, the other one had the other set of symptoms. And what I got clearly was a combination of both of them, probably, and plus other strains that I picked up in the hospital. Oh my goodness me. I've never felt that ill in my life. I was miserable. I will admit that I was miserable. I was not happy. There was moments I was crying to myself because I was that miserable. Oh, couldn't handle it. Really could not handle it. So, yeah, things like that. What's that photo? Oh yeah, that's the Minority Report. God, did I mention the Minority Report? Oh God, let me talk about the Minority Report. So I was meant to see that again in my birthday month, and I went, oh, I like the this is the stage show of it, and I went, oh, I like the film version of it. I wonder if it's the same, and it's not. And I didn't realise the Minority was a short story of Philip K. Dick. Oh no, now I need to Google it. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I thought I knew Philip K. Dick. Yeah, I was right. Cool, excellent. I was right. And I, sorry for anyone who if you're the cast of this show, or no people in the show, please do not tell them this. But I did not know if I was watching a really bad performance of professional actors or the top end of Amdram. So I really do apologise for having that opinion of your show, but that's my opinion of the show. Yeah, weren't great. I'm trying to think. Oh, I went to Liverpool for my work place, and I feel like I upset a lot of friends, because when I said, oh, I'm in Liverpool, I went, oh my God, you're in Liverpool, why didn't you tell me? I went, oh, I didn't realise you wanted to see me. So I get very embarrassed to think that people want to see me. Not embarrassed. I don't know why I got this mentality that people don't want to hang out with me, and clearly I'm wrong, so I need to tell people more when I'm visiting said city. So yeah, that's on me. I fully understand that. But yeah, but we're in May still. Did I say we were in May? Oh yeah, because I said Minority Report. But yeah, so talking about May, therefore we go to one of my favourite events of the year, which is MCM London. And again, I know I keep saying the same thing about the event, but it is one of my favourite events of the year. Lots of people, lots of things to do. I like to think that I can shoot with as many cosplayers as I can, either get booked with or find on along the way. I never think I'm bored. Things like that. I really enjoy the event. It's my thing. I do find the event expensive if you're just going there as a con goer, because it's just glorified shopping. I know that. I think a lot of people just know that, but I don't know if they see it the way I see it. So I think, if you're just going to do glorified shopping, I just think, it's a bit expensive for that. But, I still enjoy the event. I get to meet all my friends there. Well, I say all my friends, but friends that I know who I like to enjoy hanging out with. And, just like catching up with people and things like that. It's as I said, it's one of my favourite events of the year. The other one you'll hear later on when we get to the summer. Well, it's technically summer now, but yeah. It's a 3-day event. If you don't know about MCM London, I thoroughly enjoy it. I think the one thing I don't do anymore, which I wish I did, was like stay at the venue, stay at the site. Again, it's just finding someone to share a hotel with, and again, I'm not saying I like my privacy and things like that, but able to come home, just sleep in my own bed actually is quite nice, and I save a lot of money that way, and I live in London anyway, so yeah, it's a lot easier for me. There's a TikTok video that I recorded I can't wait to release. I might actually release it this coming Thursday, so if this comes out Wednesday, it will come out Thursday. So tomorrow, technically tomorrow. So keep an eye on that. So yeah, that's that. That's May. So we're on track. Good, because I think I spoke so much for January. I thought, oh God, I hope the other months are not going to be too lengthy. But yeah, right. Spirited Away. We're in June now. Spirited Away. I'm sure I'm sure I'll put this politely. I'm sure I lost my shit then when I was talking about Spirited Away, and I'm going to lose my shit now. I love that show. That show was everything I needed. I did not know what to expect from Spirited Away. Spirited Away is one of my favourite Studio Ghibli films of all time for me. My Neighbor Totoro is now up there as well, but Spirited Away for me, because I feel like it's the first one I saw in the cinema. I've seen previous ones at home on VHS tapes at the time. And so I am a fan of the franchise. But, Spirited Away is one of my favourite films. So when I heard it was coming onto stage show, I thought, oh, I've got to go. I've got friends who were also saying the same thing. I've got to go. I jumped on and went, yes, please, I come with you. I come with you. I don't know why I said it that way. But I said, well, if you're going, I would love to come as well. So we three went together. So Hannah and Amanda, I'm going to name you like that. You were the best people to hang out with, talk to about the show, the love for the show. I got teary even before the show started. I was in the gift shop, and they depicted a scene on one of the merchandise, and I looked at it and it instantly teared up. I instantly went, "Oh my God, no!" Because that scene represents a lot to me. I'm going through a stage of noticing the loneliness I go through in my life recently, and it's not great, but I'm dealing with that in a positive way. That's why I'm going out a little bit more. I'm going doing this. I'm going to do that. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, I'm lonely," and do nothing about it and stay in my flat all the time. And if that's what you do, if you were staying in, I'm not saying being in your own flat or your own home is a bad thing. I'm just saying for me, it's not great all the time. But yeah, going back to Spirited Away. So I've seen little previews on TikToks when other people were half reviewing it, and oh my goodness me, I was not prepared how much I was going to love this show. It's all spoken in Japanese, and I thought that's going to be weird, but it wasn't. There's subtitles on the side and above the stage. I think there was one below. I can't remember, but there's definitely one above the stage, and so you can see the subtitles as they're talking, and so you keep with the pace of the show. But the costumes for it is amazing. The puppetry, the puppetry was so well done. And like I said, every so often I was picturing the scenes I've seen on stage, the scene in my head, on the film, and it was so good, it was so well done. I wish I went to see it just one more time just to experience it, but I will admit the tickets were expensive at the time. We got good seats for when we saw it, but it was really expensive at the same time. So it was a hard justification to make to go and see it again. Somewhat regretting not seeing it again, but at the same token, glad I got at least see it once. So very happy with that. Yeah, it will live with me for a long, long time, that show. And I actually carry one of the. So I bought a pin of No Face, and that wears with me to work on my lanyard, so that I'm proud to show that to people and things like that. Yeah, Spirit. I got a few merchandise stuff from there, so I'm very, very happy with that. I've just seen that I shot with Purple Muffins for the third time. So I forgot to mention that Murder. Oh God, I almost said the studio. It was Murder Mile, the sex dungeon. Murder Mile. Shot with her there. 2 weeks before that as well. So so I shot with Purple Muffins 3 times. So I feel like I don't need to shoot with her for a couple of months or so, but not months, a couple of years. Because I always joke that we always shoot at least once a year, and she missed me for 1 year, so we doubled up. So I think I'm one in the bank now, so I don't technically have to shoot with her this year. Oh no, I shot with her later in the year as well. Oh my goodness me, that's amazing. What am I going to say? I went to see. I've never been to the Tower of London. Never been to the Tower of London. And work offered a trip to Tower of London. I went, yeah, sure, I'll go. Very interesting. Very interesting place. I just say I'm not a royalist. I don't mind the royals. And if I was going to say, if I liked any of the royals, it's just Queen Lizzie. I love Queen Lizzie. But after her passing, don't really care much about the other royals. Not to say they get rid of them or anything like that. I'm just they can be there. Doesn't affect my life too much. So yeah, but yeah, the Tower of London. If you ever get a chance, I was going to say crows. They're not crows. The ravens there, I found fascinating because someone pointed it out, and they said, "Oh, there's a set number of ravens." And I'm going, "Don't be silly. There can't be a set number of ravens. They're either ravens there or they're not." But there's a set number of ravens there for Tower of London, and I won't spoil too much why there's that set number of spares. There is a plaque, someone that explains it. So if you ever go to the Tower of London, go see it. And obviously there's crown jewels there that you can see and things like that. It was nice to see the jewels, but I'm not. Again, I was like, yeah, what was that? But there's a lot more to see in the other subsequent parts of Tower of London. So if you want a fun day out, you're a bit of a royalist, definitely a recommendation for that. There's a lot of artwork there that's held there that I didn't realise. So a lot of history as well. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I'm trying to look at these photos. Where's that? No idea. Oh! So I took a week off from work, and I thought, you know what? I keep seeing all over these food TikTok videos about around London. Oh, you need to eat this, you need to experience this. I went, do you know what? I'll go to a one and all you can eat meat place, mixed grill type of thing, Brazilian grill place. I think it's actually more accurately designated. And then a couple of hours later, and that same day, I went to an oyster bar because they were selling oysters for £1 an oyster, and they're usually a lot more expensive than that. And the video I saw, I can't remember if I can find the video for it, but basically, she was promoting it by having, can I have £30 worth of oysters? So therefore, she had 30 oysters. She ate them all, enjoyed it so much. She went, can I have £20 more? So she ate £50 worth of oysters. I don't know if there was anything in between that maybe her partner or they were just making up the video. I don't know. But I thought, do you know what, go for it. And I love oysters. And I don't care if you do or don't like oysters. I'm just saying I like oysters. It is a delicacy, I will admit, it is not for everyone. But if you really retch at hearing the word oysters, I do apologise, but I like oysters. So yeah, just looking at the photo of the oysters now, looks gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh yeah, boy. Right, so I'm now seeing, this is still in June as well. If anyone has seen some of my t-shirts or my hoodies, I wear the Into the Spider-Verse or the Spider-Verse hoodies or t-shirt. I went to see the live band playing across the Spider-Verse with the composer on stage directing everything. I saw the Into the Spider-Verse the previous year, and I thought this was a nice one to see the second one again. And again, amazing experience. Hearing the live music play whilst the film was being played on screen was an experience and a half. Again, if you like a franchise, if you like a film, and there's a live band, please go and see it. You might think, well, I've got the film, I can watch it at home and just blast the volume high. I went, it's not the same. It really is not the same. If you ever get a chance to see things live, I would definitely applaud you to go and see it. I honestly, I just love it. Now we're in July, and I'm trying to see. I wonder if this was a quiet month for me in July. Nope, I went to see. So me and my friend, previous guests on the podcast, Vicky of Twisted. Oh God, no. No, I can't remember. It's Twisted something. It's Twisted Arts. I'm gonna quickly. Twisted Reality Arts. I knew that. Twisted Reality Arts. We haven't seen each other for years, and I used to say, "Oh look, I'm going to see that. You want to come?" She goes, "Oh yeah, let's do it." So I can't pronounce it, but it's a Spanish performance thing. Actually, see if I can get it to say it from my phone. Just give me a second. Okay, I've got it. Here we go. Hang on.
Fuerza bruta.
That's who I saw perform. Again, it's one of those. I don't know. I would say experimental performances. I hope if you understand that, good for you. Yeah, that's all I can say. But I enjoyed it. A little short for my own, for my taste, for what I paid. But again, it's getting me out of the flat. It's getting me out of the area. It's getting me to see friends and things like that. We had a really good long talk actually afterwards. It was really nice to catch up with Vicky. And if you're listening, we need to organise something. Yeah, we did need to plan something. So I need to sort that out with her soon. Went to see The Play That Goes Wrong. That was the second time I saw it in so many months. Oh, that was the month I saw. Oh, okay, so if anyone knows me, one of my favourite band is called Garbage, and they did. I don't know if it was an anniversary tour or not. No, I know what it was. It was anthology tour, I think I would call it, of like all their greatest hits for songs. And oh my goodness, the lead singer Shirley Manson hasn't lost a beat in my opinion, and she is still as energetic, as forthright that she is. Oh, she's a great singer. Oh, again, it's the same thing as I said. It's like live music. Just absolutely love it. I will admit I'm not the most devoted fan. There were some B-side tracks they were playing which I had no idea what the song was. There were some of the I would say the more recent albums I haven't listened to. They played. I went, I don't know what this is all about. So, but the songs that I remember as a youth, I really enjoyed it, and it came after a day. So those who know me, again, I work in IT, and this came the day after the CrowdStrike impacted the world, and that affected me, and I was pulling my hair out. I was spitting feathers. Flame was coming out. I didn't know what I was doing. I felt I lost control. Yeah, and I just honestly, I didn't think I was going to see the end of the day before, thinking I had to work the next day to get it all up and running. But luckily, it got all fixed in the same day. So very happy, very, very glad for all of that. Oh my God! Again, I forgot. Again, Kev back. We he invites me to a lot of things, and he said, "Oh, do you want to go and see the Batman Experience in Manchester area?" I went, "Sure, why not?" So, stupid me, forgetting that I had a concert that day, that weekend. I said, "Oh God, you booked the tickets for that day, right?" Just to let you know, I'm going to concert that night. I'm going to sleep and drive up in the morning for us to go to the Batman Experience a couple of hours later. That was probably the most stupidest thing. I was going to say that year. No, I've done other stupid things that year, but it was one of the most stupidest thing. Lack of sleep, driving a 4-hour trip from London to Manchester. Yeah, it wasn't fun. It was not fun, but I got through it. I went to another experience, and I'll talk about that later. But this Batman Experience, I enjoyed it, but I also felt like there was not enough, or there seemed to be lack of things for a franchise that's been around for over 75 years. I think it's 85 years. 85 years. There's 85 years of history that could have been presented there, and I don't think they showed enough. And I didn't know, and I couldn't really place it until I went to another experience, which I'll talk later in the podcast. So yeah, I did that, and yeah, I stayed in Manchester for a little bit, hang out with Kevin Pag, and just chilled for a little bit. He's always telling me I should take more time to relax and chill. I'm going, yeah. But he's right. I should actually sit down and chill a little bit. Oh, this is one that I put a podcast out from the podcast extra. So Lele Cosplay messaged me to say, hey, I've got a theatre ticket if you want to come with me. I went, sure. What's it called? Oh, the show's called Your Lie in April. I went, oh, never heard of it. And I Googled a little bit. I went, oh, it's an anime. It's been around for a while. Well, anime, manga, and all that. It's a one series storyline. Oh, that's quite good. Do you know what? I won't watch it. I'll just watch the station. If I enjoy it, I enjoy it. If I don't, I don't. So yeah, and yeah. Oh, I enjoyed it. Enjoyed it a bit too much. I'm like going, oh, what's this running down my face? Oh, it's a tear, and I mean a tear. I was like, oh, that's okay. Quite emotional. I found it. And then me and Lele afterwards we were chatting. I should say before we went to the theatre show, she did ask me, "Oh, would you mind taking some photos of me?" And I think it was only fair that she got me this theatre ticket. I thought, yeah, I'll shoot some photos with her, and we did shot her Oscar Luna. Oscar Luna? No, that's a cosplayer that I am friends with. Oscar from Evangelion, and it was a fun shoot actually. I quite enjoyed that shoot because that was it. There was we were shooting around London, and near the theatre we were going to see there was a Japanese Japanese shopping centre first. So we shot some photos in there. We did ask security, look, can we take some photos inside? He went, yeah, go for it. So we did some photos. And then next door to it was a new ramen restaurant. And I said, can we take some photos in here as well? And again, the owner was like, oh, go on then, just be quick. I went, oh, yeah. And once we took photos in there, I went, I had a vision of how I was going to take it out. Because I always liked the stylized off-focus, not say off-focus, but blur, and the colour science they use. Not the colour science, the colour palette they use in Japanese photos. So I thought, when I get these photos back, like I was giving it away. When I put them on my computer, I'm going to edit them in a certain way in that style. So I was like really looking forward to like editing, and it turned out really well. So I'm trying to drip feed those photos because there wasn't many of those photos that I took in that style, but there's enough. So yeah, I was looking forward to editing those before the theatre show we went to, but yeah, afterwards we were talking about it, and she goes, "Oh my god, this show made me a bit emotional and things like that." I went, "Oh really? Oh okay. Should I be worried? Things. If I end up watching, maybe I'm all right." So I ended up watching it. I found a way to watch it at work, so I watched it during my lunch break. So they're only like half an hour episodes, so I kind of burned it quite quickly. And oh my god, the emotional roller coaster. Again, I mentioned this in a podcast with me and Lady were talking about it, and honestly, you have to have a cold heart if you don't find this emotionally damaging for you. Yes, I did use the phrase emotional damage. So yes, do go if you ever find a way to watch that show, watch it at your own peril. That's all I'll say. And I've made a podcast about that, so if you want to hear a fuller explanation of that, oh god, I didn't mean to whack my microphone. If you want to listen to that, please go find it in my podcast list. If you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, it's somewhere down there. And then I didn't realise also I went to see two comedians. One was Brynley Stent from New Zealand. I know of her work from Taskmaster New Zealand. Again, people know who I am. Know that I love Taskmaster, and I'll watch any English version of it. So I've watched the New Zealand version, the Australian version. If there's ever a Canadian version, I'll watch it. I tried to watch the American version, gave that a miss quite quickly. But yeah, I watched her show. I probably didn't laugh as much and hard as I thought I was going to, but I don't think that type of humour and the language they use or the storytelling they use suited me. So that's not their fault, it's my fault. So nothing against Brynley. But it's nice to see a overseas comedian that I see come to the UK and thinking that I'll never get to see them unless I go in to see them. But the next comedian is this little known independent comedian. I think you might know him. His name is Jimmy Carr. I hope I pronounced his name right. But yeah, he was an absolute hoot. Absolute loved his comedy and things like that. So that's August, and oh yay, I went to see Your Lie in April again in August. So I went to see that show twice. It was cheap tickets as well. What happened was that the theatre show run was cut short, and I thought, oh no, I think after watching the anime, I thought, oh no, I wanted to like pay my respects a little bit more and really appreciate the show for what it was. So I went to see it again, and I did a thing which I never do. It's like go to the backstage door and just wait for the cast members to come out. And I more or less got every cast member to sign the program that I bought from the first time round. And I got a selfie with majority of the cast as well. I've really enjoyed my that moment getting the signatures. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been a quiet month, August. I think because it's summer months, I was just chilling and this, that, and the other. Yeah, definitely quiet. I'm looking at my photo. Oh, I went to Ireland. In the end of August. I went to see a college football game. There's a reason for that. I won't go into too much detail. But yeah, the team I was supporting, they lost, and that day onwards, I kept following the results of my college football team, and they lost more or less every match for the whole season. I'm going, this was a tough, because it was a hard watch to watch them lose. Yeah, it was bad. But I did spend time in Ireland, in Dublin. I walked around a bit. I actually got to see the Portal video thing, like the giant video chat thing. That's one in New York, one in Ireland. It was really weird to see it. Absolutely weird. And I do find it funny that in Ireland, I don't know if it's in New York, but there's definitely in one in Dublin, the Portal. There's a person on guard watching people stand in front of it to make sure they don't do anything malicious in front of it, because God knows if you didn't just left it to us humans decide what to do in front of that video screen, it'll just be absolute turmoil. Oh man. Oh, August, I've got to figure. Oh, this is the other favourite event of the year that I love, which is VinCon. I love VinCon. Again, I've done a whole podcast about it in probably not 2024, but in 2023. And yeah, I didn't want to repeat myself because it's more or less the same thing, with just less controversy. But again, great venues at a centre park, so it's we're all penned in a rural area, lots of trees, swimming pool area we can shoot photos in, things like that. So yeah, absolutely, really looking forward to going to 2025, because the news that came out that said during the event that said for 2025 we have now hired out the whole venue, so we know that everyone at the venue will be of a cosplay background. You can use it as a mini holiday, mini vacation, or you can use it to take cosplay photos and things like that. We only used to have like limited usage of the swimming pool, either early in the day or at night. Sounds like now we've got the swimming pool all day as well. I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to wait for details to come out. So I'm really looking forward to that. Again, if you want to hear a fuller explanation, go to my podcast list. There's loads of VinCon. No, not lots of, but there's a VinCon episode there, and things like that. We're now into September. Again, quiet month, I think, September-wise, because I think I was trying to keep... I was trying to stay out of harm's way, but this is when I shot with Purple Monsters for the 4th time that year. Yeah, 4th time. So hang on. Yeah. I'm just counting in my head, 4th time. So I've got 2 in the bank for her now. So I don't have to shoot for the next 2 years. I will want to shoot with her, but I'm just saying. What's this? Oh, I know what that's all about. Oh, September. Another comedian that I got to meet, see their performance and meet, was Jenna Tian, an Australian. If you're on TikTok, you might have seen some of her TikToks that she does, especially about Australian lifestyle. I got to see her. She did a tour in the UK and came to London after the Edinburgh Festival, because I thought I was going to miss out on that. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to miss out on Jenna Tian. I didn't realise she was in Edinburgh until very late. But then saw she was doing shows in London. I'm like, oh, I've got to go and see her. So she was actually really funny. I, again, didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if it was a repeat of her show that she's uploaded to YouTube. But luckily it wasn't. It was a whole new show, and I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Definitely a comedian I'll keep an eye on and follow as much as I can, as far as I can. Well, that's September quite quickly done. October, that's when I went to see Six again with my friend. Long story short, it was a birthday present to my friend Eva. She's been on the podcast before, so old friend of the podcast, and things like that. And then the next day we planned this way in advance. We went to see the Friends experience, Friends experience, and oh my goodness, comparing the Batman experience to the Friends experience, night and day. The Friends experience had so much packed into it that I looked down on the Batman experience, thinking 85 years, and that's what they gave us, compared to Friends one. It was like a 10-year TV show. All right, you could arguably say that the props are easy to store and then bring out, whereas some of the older stuff of Batman is probably too delicate, too expensive to bring out for public show. But still, I feel like night and day the experience. I thoroughly enjoy the Friends experience a lot more than the Batman experience. And for anyone that's asked, yes, I did buy Hugsy. I have my own Hugsy sitting in my bedroom, and I hold him tightly and proudly. I do not care what people think of me. It's Hugsy's all mine, and I shall not share. Eddie does not share. He does not share. Just realised the Friends experience is in October time. Did I mention that earlier? I can't remember. I'm trying to fly through this because I'm just noticing the time, and somehow we're running out of time on my own podcast, but I don't want to make it too long, this podcast. What else? I did end up going to MCM London for a day in October. I only went for one day because there was a wedding I was going to go to, and I couldn't get Friday off. So I just turned up for October, and I did do a podcast record review of it. That's it. But was there for one day. I felt lost that day, if I'm honest, because I had nothing to do. Because I usually have a plan, and it's nice to have some, focus on what to do. But I had no focus that day, and I was like, oh, I'm just wandering around doing that. Still need to edit those photos. That's one of the 2 projects I need to edit. But I got bumped into some people that knew me, recognised me. And I shouldn't take too long to edit those photos. Hopefully, things like that. What else? What else did I do? So we're in November now. I went to see some fireworks. Should I talk about that? No, I'm going to leave that for the podcast extra, maybe for the podcast extra. I'm trying to see November. We're in November. Went to Kew Gardens for a little bit. That was quite nice. That was for the Christmas lights. I didn't think that was in November. I thought it was a lot closer to December. Went to another cabaret show. What's it called? Leclerc. I think it's called Leclerc Circus. That was a better show, I think, in my opinion. I wanted to go and see it in 2023, but missed out. It's a thing that I'm trying to personally do, is like go to a lot of shows. We'll do things that even though I want people to come with me, I can't find the people. I feel like I miss out that way. But, this, at least I don't miss out. Actually, it's actually not too bad. I'm coming up to end of November and December when it's MCM Birmingham. I did a review of that, and I think I remember saying in that podcast how much I enjoyed that event more than I expected, because I think I was very focused about wanting to take lots of photos that weekend. I usually tend to use it as a chill con, and I was chilled, but I took a lot of photos that weekend. So yeah, that was interesting. Again, that's another project I need to edit. And then really, I've just been chilling. For the last few weeks in December. So yeah, I've got a lot to do still. I'm still wanting to do a fairly weekly podcast here, but it might become fortnightly. That's it. That's the word. Fortnightly podcast. I think I'll probably take a page out of my friend's podcast where they'll just come when they just come. I think in my brain I was trying to be obligated to you guys to produce a podcast for you, but yeah, sometimes I don't have a subject, and sometimes I feel like I do force a subject or force a podcast out of me, and that's not good for my mental health. So I need to be kinder to myself and say that if I need a break, if I need to put that energy to other things, I need to do that more. So that's why I've changed the way I've do the beginning. It's no longer a weekly podcast. It's just a podcast series. So I will be here when I have something to say and talk about. But hopefully I won't leave too much of a gap between one podcast to another. But again, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this 2004 Wrapped review look back of the last 12 months of 2024. I'm going to do a quick podcast extra where I'll talk about a bit about 2025 and other personal stuff. Oh, that's another thing I was going to talk about. So the podcast extra is going on to patreon.com/foodandcosplay. I'm going to try to do a 1 minute drop-in video about either a thought I had, an experience I had. Probably not a 1 minute video, but a video once a week. That's what I meant to say. A video once a week about a thought that's in my head, or an idea that I'm going to do, or content creation I want to try to do in the near future. So that will be something I'll be starting to do. I'll try to do one as this goes out, but I don't have the time because I will be very honest with you. It is 11:37 at night on Tuesday, so I'm going to have to quickly wrap this up, add the intros and extra outros, and then get this uploaded, which I might have to do during my lunch break tomorrow. But anyway, yeah, so hopefully that might entice you a little bit more to like come visit me on the Patreon to hear some personal thoughts about something that's happened in the cosplay community or in my own photography life. Yeah, things like that. But I think I better wrap up this podcast of the 2024 Wrapped podcast. If you're not following me on social medias, if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, that's where you can find all my social media links. I'm now on the Blue Sky. I love Blue Sky. I'm going to use that more and more. I'm trying to be more vocal on there, trying to show a bit more personal life up there, as well as Threads. I'm still using Instagram, I'm still using Facebook. There's other social medias that I don't want to mention, but they're there. I'm still technically there, but no longer using it as a platform. If you go to foodandcosplay.org, that's where you'll find all my cosplay photos. I've recently updated the theme on it, so I hope people like the new theme. I forgot to mention about I've updated like the signage, shall we say, the photos, the logos and all that. So I've done that recently. I love to create new banners and things like that. It always makes me happy to see who I've shot with, where I've come from, what photos I've taken, and the improvements I have. Anyway, I'm doing my links. If you go to foodandcosplay.org/podcast, you'll find previously recorded podcasts with other guests, other subjects. If you go to foodandcosplay.org, you go to patreon.com/foodandcosplay, you'll hear the podcast extra, which will be, which will probably be a shortish podcast extra, but I like to talk about what's happened recently, future stuff, and like I said, content creation, and talk about more about this weekly thought episode that video that I'm going to record and put up to Patreon. So, love to see you there, but if you're not going to go to my Patreon, that's fine. That's not a problem. I'll see you when I next see you. Well, I'll see you on the Patreon if you're going to be there, but if not, been lovely having you listening to me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.